Frisco, and it's gonna be a good show. Dave, Tay, Barry, we ready?
We ready.
How'd the podcast go yesterday, Barry?
Doing amazing. The Players Lounge, great kickoff show. I'm excited about it.
You paying her for all this publicity, or?
I just think
friends,
him and Danny McCray together are just like you never know what's going to happen.
True.
Dynamic duo.
Dynamic duo. You might as well check it out, guys. Let's get right into the show today. We got the press conference coming up. Locker room opens up. So we're going to get into some stuff later today. But right now, we've got the big three topics that we want to jump into immediately. And Dak Prescott, first of all, is this a shock to anyone? NFC Offensive Player of the Week?
No shock.
400 yards, 4 touchdowns.
Congratulations, Dak. Shouts out to you, big
Way to go,
fella.
buddy.
The Dak attack.
The Dak attack was real, and the league is taking notice. But let's jump into the big three topics of the day. The first one, guys, I want to ask you right off the top, is this offensive line starting to get some praise as the numbers and analysis is coming out about how well they performed? How much, Barry, does this have to do with like the continuity of the guys next to you that you're comfortable with, like Travis Frederick back in there?
I mean, you made a great point right there. I think having Travis Frederick back in that offensive line, I mean, it's amazing for them. He's the quarterback of that group. He chooses which guy goes where. I mean, just having him back, you've seen the pass protection this past week. So just having him back, I mean, it's an awesome experience.
Yeah, a year ago they played the Carolina Panthers. Dak was sacked 6 times. So no sacks this past week. Dak attack.
All right, so I'm going to be the damper like I always am. That's fine.
That's your
my
role, Dave. That's who you are. We expect nothing different.
They look great. They didn't give up any sacks. That's awesome. It's a step in the right direction. The Giants don't have any pass rushers. JPP's not there anymore. Olivier Vernon's not there anymore. I think week 2 will be a better test. Ryan Kerrigan, Deron Payne, some really nice pass rushers for Washington. Let's see how they do with that before we get carried away.
But they are returning to form. We can all
Yeah, no,
agree
they look
to
great.
that.
They look
Beard is
great.
on the bench.
Look
They
great
look
against
great.
a bad team. Good.
Okay, next question for you guys. And Barry, I'm coming to you again. How do you stay even-keeled after a big win like this over a division opponent? I mean, there was like full-on laughter at the end of the game, not a victory formation.
Well, Coach Garrett, he's great at this. I mean, he's great at giving his players enough to feel accomplished, but also enough to still want more, still want those goals at the end of the season, goals that they're reaching for. So, Coach Garrett, if he can continue to keep this team, just feeling even-keeled throughout the season, which I'm sure he'll be able to, I'm looking forward to big things.
I think they have a very similar personality to you, Dave.
Oh, good.
I think they look at week 1 and they're like, yeah, that's good, but it was the Giants and we know their game plan and we know what we can do. So I think they're feeling very Dave-like right now.
I'm just relieved that one of Garrett's former players said the same thing that I always say, because that's what Jason Garrett does the best. Like, he won't let people look beyond one practice, let alone pat themselves on the back about a game. So one thing I'll say about Garrett, he doesn't let people get ahead of themselves. I think that's his biggest strength as a coach.
Yes.
I agree.
Okay, the third of the big three. I don't know if any of us knew this was coming, but did you guys see how big of a deal the pose with the pros was at AT&T Stadium? Fans were all gathered around, and just people loved it.
I've never seen something go off like this.
Yeah, it was
10 million, said like Jerry Jones says million.
Yeah, here we go. I want to go try this thing out next time at the
So
stadium.
explain
Like,
what we're seeing, Dave.
I mean, it's an interactive column in the end zone, I guess, and you go like pick up to 5 players, and they'll take a selfie with you in the concourse of the stadium, I guess, for lack of a better word. Like,
And then you get
literally,
to take a photo with you.
and they'll get in like Travis Frederick's pointing at the camera, like,
Looks
what
very
up?
realistic.
This
Yeah.
was at the game on Sunday, so this was the fan video that's gone
Right.
absolutely viral. So
Yeah.
people are loving it. I think there was a big line.
There was a line around the concourse, Lindsay. People were waiting for an hour at least to get this photo. So very impressive. Shout out to you, AT&T, for the great idea.
Great idea on that.
I just love our creative team. Shout out Carrie Lofton. They're like, we made this dope video in the off season that highlights this, and nobody saw it. And then a grainy cell phone video comes out, and it blew up. I think it's awesome. I'm gonna go look for
Went
it.
viral in Brazil.
Wow.
That is what we were hearing
Wow.
yesterday. It went viral.
So the
in
world's
Brazil.
team.
That's the way the Cowboys do things,
world's
baby.
team.
Business is booming for the Cowboys, not for AB, but we're not going to get into that, I promise. We are going to take a break. When we come back, we have the 2-minute drill, and yes, we asked you, the fans, out on the plaza, those of you that were hanging out, about this guy, Gold Jacket Win. All that and more next.
You want to cover for Go Cowboys!
Getting fed right here. It's his time of the game to close it out.
Here's Prescott keeping for the touchdown.
are back here on Cover 4. Before we get into our second segment, gotta plug the watch party coming up out here on the Plaza on Sunday. It starts in the morning, so it's a noon game, so come out anytime. Yeah.
10 a.m. Get out here. You guys roll at 11 a.m. live from the Tostitos Championship Plaza.
It's gonna be lit.
Party.
Early tailgate. That's a great way to look at it, Barry.
But we did go back out on the Plaza to ask the fans a question about who is going to have more touchdowns. Here's what you guys had to say.
Who's going to score more touchdowns, Randall Cobb or Michael Gallup this season?
Well, I gotta say Cobb. You know, I mean, with a name like that, sounds like mine. I mean, hell, he's good to go.
I would say Randall Cobb. I mean, he scored multiple touchdowns for Cowboys on Sunday, and I mean, I'm hoping that's gonna spell some success for him in the future.
Michael Gallup, bigger receiver, knows his routes, and I think he can score more points for us.
Michael Gallup. I just think him and Dak's timing is doing great this year.
I think Cobb, just because he played so well on Sunday night, and I think he's got a lot of potential, and he can do things after he catches the ball, extend the play.
Randall Cobb. I think he was a good deep threat, open up the field for the Packers. I think it's going to be a great addition to the Dallas Cowboys.
What do you guys think? Who's right?
I like that guy's sunglasses.
I like those shades.
Are those Jalen Smith shades from the Pro Shop?
Clear eye view.
Clear eye view. So Cobb or Gallup? I mean, honestly, that's a really tough question. But based on what we saw from one game.
I'm going to go with my guy Gallup. Like, I've been driving this bandwagon since July. He totally lived up to the hype in week 1. Didn't score a touchdown, but 158 yards, 7 catches, looked fantastic. And it's the big play aspect of it. Like, he's going to be the guy that Dak goes to take the top off. I think he wins out.
Ooh, I think it might be Cobb, Dave, and I say that because he is re-energized here as a Dallas Cowboy. He's got a lot to prove. He's going to be playing the Packers later this season. Randall Cobb, I think you have more touchdowns at the end of this season.
I'm going to have to go with Taylor on this one. I mean, Cobb, I feel like,
That's right.
no doubt. But I feel like Cobb, his quarterback-friendly routes in the red zone will give him an advantage over Gallup out there. I think Gallup will have more yards. He's more of a big threat, but in the red zone, I got to go with Cobb on this one.
That's fair.
2-minute drill time. Will the GOAT, Gold Jacket Witt, catch Dez in touchdowns, pass Dez for the most in franchise history? What do we think?
So he came into the season needing 6. He's already got 1. 6 is a career high. But I don't. The way that looked on Sunday afternoon, like, I kind of think he's going to do it. Like, there's so many weapons on this team. He's a red zone threat. His route running makes him valuable down there. I just feel like, that little bootleg action where they go left and he breaks out right, like, they're going to draw that stuff up for him. I kind of feel like Jason Witten is going to grab that record by the end of the year.
Did you hear Dak post-game say that when on the Blake Jarwin touchdown, they called the play and he looks around and sees nervous. Jarwin because he knows it's Witten's favorite play, and he was like, oh no. And then if you watch our sounds from the sideline, you see on the sideline where Jason Witten's looking around for his touchdown, and they go, just go in, go, and then he scores. So it's like Witten saw that and was like, I don't know if I'm cool over here.
So Witten had 68 in the 15 seasons before he took that break for the booth. Guys, he was averaging 4 more each year. I just think this is going to happen for him. I don't think they're going to ever let him retire again if this doesn't happen.
That's a good point. Just let him keep playing. Yeah.
Just keep playing.
What are we thinking? What week could it be?
I think I would guess it'll take most of the year if it happens.
14, I'm going week 14.
You think?
Week 14?
Week 14.
Okay.
He's never.
Let's play this at the end of the year.
He's never had more than 6 in the season. It stands to reason. Unless they're just really just trying to feed it to him. I think it's going to take a while.
Will Jarwin have more than Witten this year?
Yes.
Oh.
Okay, so you think he's a big piece?
Elaborate on that.
I think Jarwin will be a big piece of this passing going forward, and I think Witten. I mean, he'll have his touchdowns and his catches here and there, but I think in the red zone they're going to use Jarwin a lot more.
We're saying this is going to be a top 3 offense. Like, that's basically when you start at it. Like we talk about Cobb, we talk about Gallup, now Witten and Jarwin. Don't forget about Amari Cooper. Like, all of a sudden, somehow we're going to score all day.
Kellen effect. That is the Kellen effect right there.
I'm here for it, honestly.
I feel so at a loss for what we're going to see in Washington. Like, I know what we saw in week 1, but is it going to be similar? Is it going to be completely different? Is he going to,
That's
he's playing us all.
I think he'll switch it up.
Switch it up?
That's why I'm curious. Going back to the
game?
offensive line thing, I want to see if it carries over against a better defense. I think it will, but I want to see it.
Okay. That's all we got for you guys today, but tomorrow we will be back. We'll look more into the Redskins. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys tomorrow.